Panetta was saying yesterday he didn't think the date was so much important as how you get there.
Well, I think how you get there is by far the most important, but no one should be misled either about the importance of the date. If you don't have a date, you really never get there. And it's important for us to get there by a date certain. As I said, virtually every Democratic senator voted for a date certain when we had a debate on a balanced budget amendment. And so I don't think a couple of months later it's in our interest now to say, well, we didn't really mean that date. We could come up with another date. We believe that there ought to be a date certain, and most of us don't differ with Republicans about the importance of 2002.
Given the status of the Russian sale to Iran, what do you think the disposition of Congress should be on any kind of assistance we give Russia?
Well, I think we have to be very wary of providing additional assistance until we have some assurances. I am pleased with the results of the trip of the President just last week. I think that he made great progress in coming to terms with many of these issues. We're still not quite there, but I think we are making progress, and I think that you'll see a number of senators and congressmen watching with great interest to the next couple of weeks to see just what additional progress we can make. We've got to send the Russians as clear a message as possible that activities like Chechnya, activities like providing nuclear materials to Iran are not to be tolerated and won't be accepted as we consider aid to that country.
The Christian Coalition and the Family Research Council and other groups are coming out with their contract for America this week. What's your sense of the extent of the influence of these groups so far in this Congress?
Well, first I'd say, Elizabeth, one contract is enough, but I'm not sure the degree to which their influence ultimately will be felt here on Capitol Hill. Obviously, they have a number of supporters in the ranks of mostly the Republican Party, but I certainly wouldn't call it a majority. And I think that I think that they have a lot of work to do to persuade a majority of the correctness of most of their positions.
Do you have a sense of the timetable on Foster?
I don't, but I was real encouraged by Senator Packwood's comment yesterday. It adds to the growing list of Republicans who now say that they'll not only vote for cloture, but they'll vote for Dr. Foster himself. I think he's made great strides, and I wouldn't be surprised if we had a vote sometime this month.
Before the Memorial Day?
I haven't talked to Senator Dole about this, and I emphasize that that's based only on my guess, based upon what Republicans have been saying in recent weeks. But I have to be encouraged, as I know Dr. Foster is, with the kind of Republican willingness to publicly support him that we've seen now since his testimony.
How do you read the changing signals that Senator Dole is giving on this?
Well, I think Senator Dole has expressed probably the sentiment within his own caucus on a number of occasions. At first there was concern. I think in some cases there was a good deal of politics being played within the caucus. There certainly is from a presidential point of view with Senator Graham. But as Dr. Foster has generated greater support within the caucus, I think Senator Dole's comments have reflected that level of support. So I'm not surprised with Senator Dole's willingness to reconsider and look, because I think in large measure the majority of Republican members of the Senate today have come to the conclusion that indeed Dr. Foster could serve this country very well as our new Surgeon General.
Do you still expect unanimous Democratic support for Foster?
I know of no Democrat who intends to oppose him. I'm not saying that there isn't one. I just haven't heard one. There are those who haven't expressed themselves, but I have to assume that if it isn't unanimous, it's near unanimous. Well over 40 votes on our side for Dr. Foster today.
51 votes at least in the full Senate?
Absolutely. I would say that we could hit 60 votes by the time the vote is taken. Well, if there are no other questions, have a good day.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.